episode. Maybe we'll maybe we'll start with a just a little touch on the last episode before we get going.
I'm not against it.
And we're
Okay.
live.
Oh, cool. We are live.
One day we're going to be live at the time we say we're live.
Dude, that'll be the day.
When is our official timer supposed to go live? Like 7:15 or something?
Oh my God.
Is that really it? Oh man, 7:15. We haven't seen that one in a while.
We're gonna see it next week.
Yes.
We're gonna see it next week.
Thanks, John. John has to speak faith, and I understand that. And I'm hoping to help him out with that next week as well.
When everybody else doubted. Oh Lord. Yeah. That next week might be a little interesting.
Oh, you're gonna be
you guys will start at 7:15 next week.
Uh-oh.
Without John here, we probably will.
See my face and everything. That's cool. That's cool. That's whatever. Bruh is right.
We want to welcome everyone to this live episode of Bible Bros and Brew. Yes. Where we chop up the word, or we do as our motto was way back in the day. We take the word to second crack, as they say.
Whoa.
How cool is that? It's a coffee it's coffee parlance, if you will. Praise God.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see that Peregrine got on our page today and roasted John?
Oh my gosh.
I did. I saw that. That's great.
There wasn't much of a roast on my end.
Well, now, John, it was your roast because you bought that filth into our room.
Wow. Listen.
The Joffrey, was it Joffrey blend or something? What was it called again?
Yeah.
Freeze. It's pretty good.
Did we?
And then you want to know what else is interesting? Just as an interesting side note, since you mentioned them files earlier.
Yes.
And I'm surprised for John to be such a knowledgeable person with his obsession with Disney.
Oh.
Because John literally helps to keep Disney in operation.
Oh, yeah.
And
John
so
said, yeah.
And it's like, so how do you reconcile it wasn't, I think maybe it was the top of the year or at some point towards the end of last year that there were 28 employees that they arrested for child stuff.
Yeah, for sex trafficking, absolutely.
I'm just curious, John, how do you reconcile that with your participation in their playgrounds for adults that are designed to allow them to feed on the children?
Oh gosh.
Well, if you want to open up that
can
oh gosh.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
When you look around and you realize it's not just Disney, it's every corporation, every lead in these corporations that has an affiliation.
No, that's a bad argument. You've gone to the everyone does it argument, John.
See, well, there's a second part to that argument. What good does boycotting do? Because it's not just the media that I consume. Then there are other studios and brands that I don't know that Disney and other corporations own, but they do. So you don't even know that you're supporting these companies when you're buying groceries or when you're buying books. Like there's if I have to boycott one of them, then I have to boycott all of them. And if I boycott all of them, I got nothing. I got nothing to do. Nothing to like. There's like nothing that I can buy that doesn't support.
Do you hear John drowning in his argument right now?
I'm thinking though, man. I mean, Disney does own a lot of stuff. They really do. They own like so many things you wouldn't even think they own. It's really crazy.
It's so interesting because I was talking to, I forgot who I was talking to about this, but Disney's one of the corporations that have managed to find themselves in every store you go to. I don't know if, and it was so bizarre, and I think it clicked in my mind when I went to a truck stop and I saw like, there were like Disney characters, like car accessories, like phone holders or whatever, and I realized like, holy crap. Like and it's not just like Disney characters. Like if anything that has Marvel on it, Disney. Anything that has Star Wars, Disney. Then you have like those like hidden corporations and or not corporations, hidden like studios that Disney owns, but they don't like market it as a Disney corporation or Disney business because it's not a marketable brand for Disney to tie their name to like something like Lionsgate or something like that.
So I did see this. This was amazing to see.
It's gone again. When you follow the trail of like, okay, who owns Disney and who has, who's messing with these parties and baby oil and whatnot. Turns out it's not just Disney. It's it's ESPN and HBO Max, and that how it goes up to Netflix now because Netflix now owns Warner Brothers, and then Netflix, all those people were on those lists and files. So it's like, then let's see what Netflix owns, and you like go down that tree, and all of a sudden it's like, what can you buy that isn't tied to any of these people? You know what I mean?
It's tough. It's definitely tough to try to do like 100% boycott. I think the only thing, like, the only way
y'all were obsessed.
Do it is by like a matter of conscience. Like if I'm overtly, knowingly going to a Disney thing, then I'm not really abiding by my own conscience. Like after we went, what was it?
It's currently
was it that we went to Disney all of us together? I forgot.
Something like that.
It says this channel is temporarily unavailable.
I kind of made up after that. I was like, I don't want to give them another dime of my money, like ever again. I don't care to go to the park ever again. I just don't.
Currently unavailable.
Could I be wrong? I don't know, but I don't like overtly supporting them. I'll put it that way. But you're right. It's hard because they have tentacles everywhere.
And on top of that, I think that
I'm so happy she's permanent.
Again, what does boycotting do?
It says,
what I mean? Like they're still going to make their millions. They're still going to do what they keep doing. I'm not saying just do it anyway because you might as well. I'm saying that kind of like what you said. Like if everyone has their own personal conviction. For me, I know that
absolutely 100%.
It's kind of like
that's it.
Like the person who goes to church and gives their tithe and offering, not knowing that you're just funding your pastor's sneakers. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like one of those situations where like you're doing it because the person who's giving money is doing it for the sake of tithing, but what they're not knowing is that the money is going to things that aren't really honoring God, and so I can't control that. But I think that the least, like at the very least, if I know I'm going to go watch a movie or a show, I'm doing it for the sake of my enjoyment, not because the money's going to always go. Money's like water. Water's been everywhere. Water has been through every living thing, every part of the earth. It comes around, it goes around, and same thing with money. At some point, the dollar bill that you're spending has been through some other pedophile's pockets at some point or another. You know what I mean? So it's not like, like I can't control that. If I stop doing it, then the next person is going to take up my theater anyway. You know what I mean?
About issuing driver's licenses to people who don't speak English. If they can't speak English, chances are they can't read the road.
I know that's not a strong argument, but it's
I know that this is one of those things where it's tough to find like any real black and white type of thing about it. There's a lot of gray area because it is matters of conscience, and because it's such a wide-ranging thing, you know, you've got so much. Like I said, Disney got their hand in so many things, and yeah, I mean, you know, I will say this too, and this I don't really want to say it like as an argument for not boycotting, but boycotts they are typically short-lived in terms of their effect. They typically are, you know, that's a sad thing. And sometimes real damage is done, like with the Bud Light thing when they went a little crazy a few years ago, and then people to this day, I think they've had some horrible damage to their reputation. So, you know, but I mean, hey, I just know I don't like spending my money at Disney. That's all I can really say. You know, that's just me.
I understand.
Yeah,
I can go on with examples. Like one thing I can think of, I remember Hasbro, a major toy company that sells Monopoly boards and like cool action figures and toys and whatnot. They also bought the rights to the people who created the Ouija board, and so they sell Ouija boards. And so it's like, you know, do you not buy Monopoly and Uno and all these other things and like all the other toys that they own in the toy section because they sell Ouija boards? You know, like to each their own conviction, you know what I mean? But for me, like I said, I'm just not going to buy a Ouija board. You know what I mean? And I won't be convicted of wanting to buy Monopoly because the other thing that they sell. Now again, that's my personal conviction, or I guess lack thereof. But I just think that if you keep going up the trail of money and corporations and what these people are doing with the money, it's never going to be innocent ever.
I mean,
well, I don't know though, because then that says, well, never mind. That gives the impression that everybody who's at the top of the chain is bad, or that the people at the top of every chain is bad.
But
and I've come to not believe that that's necessarily true. Just because you've made it to a certain level doesn't mean that you're an ugly person.
So then why is it a problem? So you're saying that not everybody at the top of Disney is bad?
No.
See? That's my point. That's like the other side of my point, which is.
But I would argue back to the other side of that is when I don't think everybody at Disney is bad. And I will go to Disney. I'm not like Phil. I haven't thrown the complete baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, I knew the McIntyre clan still likes Disney. I get it, man.
Well, technically, there's only a part of the McIntyre clan that is like Disney 24/7. There's a part of the McIntyre clan that's a Universal family.
Yeah. Okay.
And we prefer that side of Orlando. But we don't lose our mind, you know. Anyway. But it's that I would say there's an argument to be made that Disney has, in some cases, created a culture that has put children, who is their primary customer base and their families, also in the crosshairs of those within their organization who target children.
Mm. And I'll say this too. This is an interesting statistic, but I think it was either last year or the year before. I forgot who did this study, but I was looking at it a while back on YouTube. And there are more childless adults attending Disney parks than there are families now. Like more childless single people.
I saw that.
Families.
Yeah, I saw that. And I'm like that, you know, which
that's
is weird. I think that's interesting too, Philip. And I don't judge because I try not to judge that because, you know, I've gone, but see, I know why I go to Disney. right?
Are you childless?
Well, no, but it's like Lori and I will go. We're not carrying around a bunch of children. We have gone. You guys have gone with us, but we're not carrying a bunch of children around with us having to manage kids. We're there for the food. We know why we're there. We're not trying to ride rides. We're there for the food and shopping. So as we're going, and specifically around Epcot, that's the park we tend to go to.
Right.
And we walk around from country to country and we eat food. We eat food, we drink, and we shop. We spend a lot of money to do that. But that's our deal. We don't even really ride the rides too much.
Yeah.
So I think that, there are people like, I think there are normal people who would be adults who would still go. But you keep watching, and this part is not Disney's fault. But it's just like I saw the video the other day of the little transgender dude who was dressed up like a little girl walking around Disney parks using the women's restrooms. I don't know what his name was.
Oh my God!
You mean her? Excuse you?
No, I mean he. I don't know what his name was. He was trying to play like a little, little girl, all dressed up, using the girls' bathrooms and all that. He's looks like a 30-year-old man.
See, that's literally a mental disorder. Like, that's just a mental disorder. Bro, you're not a girl. No grown person is a child. That's the bottom line. No grown person is a child.
And to Disney's credit, once they found out he was there and was present, and saw what he was doing, they banned him.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. I'm sorry. It's probably not funny, but in a way, to me, it just is.
I will
People
say
need things to do with their time. They really do.
One of the things that had always drawn me to Disney was what Disney has underneath it. Like as a kid, I loved Pixar. Anything that Pixar popped out, like in the early 2000s, gold as a kid, right?
Right.
But that just because I do like going to Disney, that doesn't mean I support every decision they made, because I think that in the 10 years that Disney has been pushing stuff out, it hasn't been producing gold the same way it has before. And that wasn't just in Disney movies, that was in everything that was under Disney. There were some things that were good here and there, but
Disney also has a great program that I wish I'd availed myself to earlier in life and was more serious, because they have a fantastic program for customer service and leadership in customer service that they literally run classes for regularly behind the scenes. And you go there for X number of days and you immerse yourself into that program. And it was top notch. And it was often recommended by CEOs and deep within organizations. So, Disney has done some good stuff too. But
they have. They've fallen off though, bro. They've fallen off pretty bad.
They've just fallen off in general in how they do what they do. And part of it is their, first of all, I think it's their leadership,
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plus I think that it doesn't help that it becomes a greed game where everything is just how much more can we charge for the things that used to cost half as much, just because they'll buy it because of the name. Like, not to, a more recent example, this major Star Wars movie that just came out, and the title of it being Mandalorian and Grogu, Disney thought that would be enough to pull people into the theaters, and that was it. And and it was a matter of just by name alone, they wanted to see how much they could sell without actually giving anything of value. You know what I mean? Like the fact that I found out how many collaborations and marketing things that this movie has done before I found out what the actual movie was about was so bizarre. In fact, I didn't know what the movie was about until I watched it, which is kind of, now this day and age, like before you go see a movie, most people know what the movie is. But no, I think that's, and again, that's just one example, but I think that's the main root of their failure. They think that, oh, you like Deadpool? Dude, just buy all the Deadpool stuff. We'll just make a movie called Deadpool and have some cool things happen in it, but not actually have any substance in it, and then just try to sell that name as much as possible through, through food, drink, paraphernalia, all that craziness. I know I'm not helping my own point because I'm wearing a hat, but that's just one example. So I 100% agree. I think that recently they have had that really, really bad turnoff where let's just make as much money as possible from these giant IPs and franchises without actually like giving people decent movies and shows and like content. I think that they're turning it around this year. I know they got that new CEO who was basically saying that we're like turning it back to the family, making it all about like family movies and not just political agendas, which I think that this year I'm half convinced because, we have a live action Moana, which is a thing that's happening in our reality right now. But I think that we'll see what happens in the next few years. They have a whole 10-year plan, and we're like 3 years into it, I think. So, all that to say, I do agree with you, Mr. David. I do agree with you. We're on the same page about this. The food and drink is also really good. So, I'll leave it at that.
All right, you guys ready to do this?
I am ready, dude. Let's kick it.
Us and our one singular person watching. Before we get started, please, I know you like watching Bible Bros and Brew. If you like watching us, just subscribe. If you like the video, just like the video. That's it. That's all it takes. And we appreciate you doing that. Who's hosting tonight?
I'll run with it.
Thank you, David.
Beautiful. All right. I hope you guys are ready.
Let's do it, man.
We're reacting to what we're seeing on the web right now. This is week 3 or 4 of that. And we're seeing some wild stuff. But tonight, we thought we'd dig into a place, you'll just have to watch and see. Up next on Bible Bros and Brew. Let me do that again. Let me redo that. Here we go. By the way, is anybody else hearing that double beat?
Yes, I hear it. I don't know where it's coming from or how it's coming.
I don't know where it's coming from either, but it's bleeding over into the live podcast.
Is it? Hold on. Let me.
That's even worse.
Right.
I wonder. Okay, because I'm not hearing it, so I'm assuming that means that I'm the problem. Let me. Okay, try it. Let me try it one more time.
So that means, I guess you got to mute your mic, John, or something like that.
I did mute myself. No, that I stopped sharing my Chrome tab.
Oh,
and I think that because it's both off the same Chrome user, it's all picking up all audio from my Chrome tabs.
It's sharing the sound around.
Right. So I'm gonna just leave it unshared until it's time to share.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll.
All right. Whenever you're ready, Mr. David.
Let's do the rundown again.
Okay, that's perfect.
This week, we've continued our search for all things internet, and we are reacting to what we see. Today, we've got some interesting stuff for you, and then one that's going to make you shake your head. But stick with us. Something good's right around the corner. Up next on Bible Bros and Brew. What's up?
Yeah.
Y'all do. How y'all doing? Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Bible Bros and Brew. I'm David. I'm not here alone. As you can see, these two weirdos next to me are usually here with me. I've got John on one side and Philip on the other, and they are both abnormal people. So, as the only normal one, I'll lead the way, and then they'll say weird stuff around me. We're so glad that you joined us for this episode. We're going to be reacting to some things that we've seen on the internet. If you've got some things you've seen on the internet and you want to see us react to them, please don't hesitate to send them to us. You can share them with us at our email at gotbrew@BibleBrosBrew.com, or you can share them with us on any of the social media platforms that we're connected to, whether you share it in our YouTube comments or on Instagram, now soon TikTok, and others. We would love to have you connect with us. Philip and John, how you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Doing well, my friend. Doing well. Glad to be here.
And don't forget that Scott Brew at BibleBrosBrew.com.
Come on. Let's get it.
Well, you guys, we are glad you're here. And before we get into our videos for tonight, because we kind of want to jump right in there's a very important question that we must ask. And that question is, what's in the cup? All right, for what's in the cup tonight, we're going to let Philip kick us off tonight. Actually, Philip, we're going to let John kick us off tonight. John, what's in the cup?
I almost forgot for a second. I got a maple flavored coffee. I believe it's from Kroger. They had like this fall. I know it's out of season.
We just out here getting coffee from everywhere, ain't we?
Don't worry about it. Okay, good coffee is good coffee. Sipping out the Spider-Man mug, of course. I had to put in some. I didn't have to, but I iced it and put in some toasted marshmallow creamer. That's the thing that stood out to me. Excuse me. It was like a weird, like almond coconut creamer, and I was like, dude, what? I thought I made a mistake before I poured it in already. I didn't realize what it was, but then at first I was weirded out, but then I was like, okay, you know what? This isn't too bad. It tasted like a toasted marshmallow, and then that's exactly what I was feeling and thinking. It's not bad. It's not, because I'm not a huge coconut fan, and the almond did make it taste a little nutty. But the maple s'mores toasted marshmallow feel didn't really feel all too weird to have a nutty flavor to it. So I'm not mad. I like it.
Okay. Stuff, so it sounds like you had a good creamer.
Yeah. Precisely.
How dare you?
That's why you don't buy your coffee from Kroger. I'm just kidding.
Bruh.
I have bought coffee from Kroger. I don't still drink it.
You didn't drink it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Just kidding. Philip, what's in your cup?
I had to go back to, once again, the Peregrine Peru decaf. Praise God. This is their newest one, guys. And it has notes of fudge, praline, and hazelnut. It is the most chocolatey, nutty. I mean, it's just like blessing in a cup, dude. It's so good, man.
Ooh.
So shout out to Perry. And it's decaf. When I hit that point during the day where I realized I'm far too hopped up on caffeine, but I still want coffee, I got to go with this decaf, and it's doing me right, man. I have no complaints. So shout out to Peregrine once again.
Nice.
Yes. How about you, David? What you got in your cup, man?
Tonight I am drinking something still new, but from a similar line that I drank not last week, I think, but the week before, from the Paul John Indian Caffeine Company. This time I'm drinking their Monsooned Malabar.
Monsooned Malabar. That sounds pretty sour.
This is an exceptional. This is a medium dark roast. So it is packed with notes of red wine, cinnamon, and pepper.
Ooh.
So it's full bodied, low acidity, and they call it friendly. It is a nice sipping coffee for great conversation, I would say. So that's from Paul John Indian Coffee Company. So you've got a mixture of different coffees to try here today, and even a creamer. So go out there and get some. Share with us in the comments what you're drinking tonight. And speaking of drinking tonight, don't forget we've released our new book, I'm Over It. It's available on our website at BibleBrosBrew.com, and you can select /merch, MERCH, or you can just click the image that's on the front page of the website and grab your copy of the book. You can also search for it on Amazon.com, and you could find it there as an ebook, and you can download that. And we hope that that book blesses your life. We spent a good deal of time talking about it and working on it and editing even the devotional piece so that it would be something beneficial for you. You can also go back and listen to some previous episodes of Bible Bros and Brew where we initially had the conversation about being over it. We know that will bless you as well. All right, let's get into it tonight. And as we get into it tonight, I want to start somewhere that's a little painful. So we released the episode last week about basically our I forget the exact title for it, but we were talking about being deceived by Christian music artists and some of the things you should be looking for versus what's been put out. And I would like to confess something to you, because when I'm wrong, or when I get the spirit of things wrong, or if I just get things wrong, period, I want to be sure to make it right. And when we shared last week about the music piece, it was really fresh with me at that time. And so, man, what I shared last week was a complete rant. It was David Unchecked. I didn't put a whole lot of time and effort into just saying, okay, now let's make this beneficial and useful for the people. And I just went in about my anger about the whole situation. And if I'm being honest, I'm still angry about the situation. And the reason why I'm still angry about it is because it's the same thing that happens when you have a long-term friend or a mentor or someone like that in your life. And for years and years, I can think of a gentleman right now. I can think of him right now. And even though I didn't read the depth of all of his books, he really meant something to me. And I would listen to his messages and dug in. And, the way that he communicated was something I connected with at a critical point in my life, even though it was a couple of years before something happened. He led me to understand that my church at the time wasn't the only place in the world teaching the word, that there were men and women of God all over the place teaching the word, and that there was a community of believers, and I had to break free from the chains that I had gotten myself caught up in the bubble that we were in, that this was the only place that taught the true and right word of God. And so he helped me to break out of that bubble. And then in breaking out of that bubble, it set me free. Then in my freedom, I was able to learn some things that I was like, okay, we weren't exactly right over there. We weren't overall per se wrong, but we weren't exactly right. And it began to help to reshape some elements of my faith, to clarify some things so that I rightly believed in other certain areas, because I wasn't reading things. I was reading them with a certain context instead of just understanding the context and moving on. That was many, many years ago. But about 15, 20 years after that, I came to find out that he was involved in so much sexual sin and manipulation and so many things behind the scenes. There was no indication of it up front. It was all behind the scenes that this stuff was happening, and very few people knew about it. And it began to spill over into the public. And then once it spilled over, it became public. He acknowledged that it was true. And shortly thereafter, he died because he was already sick. And in his sickness, he just acknowledged it was true.
Wow.
And that wounded me, because I said to myself, how can somebody who has walked so closely with God find themselves in this place? Now, I have since come to realize that there but for the grace of God, there go I.
That's the truth, bro. That is
Because
the God's truth.
If we're not careful, any one of us can find ourselves in any position that we'd never intended ourselves to be in.
Yeah.
And if it's not for God's grace, if it's not for his mercy, there's no telling where we might find ourselves. So I learned to not judge. I hate that his ministry was so scandalized that people lost track of his words, because his words were true and he was genuinely converting people to Christ and bringing them into this place with Jesus. It was genuine what he was doing. It was what he was doing behind the scenes, his own personal sin that was undoing him.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, in the same way, I feel about the music. I feel like some of these people have been such a formative part of my Christian walk, and it leads me, would lead me to ask the question, how could you do this? And it angers me, but then I also have to be very gracious and merciful, because the same thing that could take them could take me. And so I have to be very careful not to judge and to do all that. The Bible says be angry, but don't sin. And so I apologize for letting my anger turn what I was feeling into a rant, because we always want to give you what's going to be helpful for you. So for that, we apologize, but I hope you hear the heart in the what makes us angry. And then, Philip, you want to throw anything else in there?
Yeah, just I always think about, how it says in Ephesians, don't let any corrupt communication come out of your mouth, but only what's good for the use of edifying. And I definitely can look back at some of the stuff I said, and I'm like, some of that wasn't edifying. But that doesn't mean that you never call things out that are supposed to be called out. Jesus did it all the time to the religious folks in his day. And partly, if you want to be honest about it, part of that is our responsibility as the body of Christ. Paul said, he said, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. So there is an element of that. But I'll also, if you think about it, man, John, the actual Apostle John, he wrote in, I think it was either 2nd or 3rd John. He said, there's a guy among you named Diotrephes, and he loves to have the preeminence among you. He thinks he's all that in a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
And so John was literally calling somebody out by name, And then we have Paul in 2 Timothy, I believe. He said, Alexander the coppersmith has done me great evil. And then he said, may the Lord reward him according to his works. It's like, so we, they
weren't exactly being kind, were they?
They weren't exactly being kind, but at the same time, I 1,000% agree with what David said. Take heed lest you fall. I mean, you can sit there and point out everybody else's stuff and why they screwed up and how horrible it was that they screwed up. But believe you me, dude, if you're not sober and vigilant, it's easier than you think. Easier than you think to slip into some stuff. And next thing you know, you're doing the very thing that you condemn somebody else for doing. Right. Now, I won't take back what I said about modern Christian music as a whole.
No.
I'm not going to take it back, dude. It's, for the most part, kind of garbage. But
yeah, it's a train wreck still.
Yeah. So, but I can say that, I can judge the music without hating on the people who make it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Right. So, but I just wanted to put that out there. So,
yeah, and the reality is the Bible. You see it in the New Testament. You see it in Colossians. You see it in Ephesians. We get this instruction to teach and admonish one another. In all wisdom. Colossians says singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. And so Ephesians tells us to be filled with the Spirit, addressing one another in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, meaning that music should be a part of our Christian formation. And so good Christian music definitely plays a role in our formation. I think my argument, and Phillips is too, is where is the good Christian music anymore?
Yeah.
You know, what is this? What has this become? Has it become an industry? Has it just become where people come and, you know, you can't make it out there in the big market with the Taylor Swifts of the world. So you find a way, you're good enough to make it in the smaller Christian market. And so you threw together some music that said God. You say Jesus a couple of times. You talk about the rock and you say the word salvation a few times. You throw it together and voila, you've got a Christian song. I think so many of us are ready for much more than that. And there are so few who go deeper and who are walking deeper with Christ to give that depth of music out. And, you know, maybe so it will be. You know, maybe that's the remnant that God talks about, and we'll be a remnant people who find remnant music, remnant teachers that will help us to make it over to the other side of this thing. But you also hear the musicians, you see them all the time. Tell me why are the gospel Christian musicians, you know, out there at the cocktail parties with the heathens, having drinks and having conversation? What does that say about your testimony to them? Now, yes, the Bible says that, you know, you can do what you want to do. You're as a believer, you just don't cross what you believe to be true in one sense. But yet, so many of us it says don't be conformed to this world, but we're conforming to this world in order to be liked by others. And so we'll compromise our faith in order to be liked. We'll compromise our Christianity in order to be accepted in a circle of people who ultimately don't care about you. And I'm so over seeing Christian artists. You know, I saw a video where there was one Christian artist. He had these men around his table, and they were supposed to be talking about serious life stuff and Christ stuff and all that. And he's passing out cocktails. And one guy was like, I don't drink. He's like, oh, get him some juice or something. Get him some juice. And I'm like, why are any of you drinking? And it's not because I'm compromised or have a certain feeling about drinking, but you're doing something that's in public. You're doing something that's going to be publicly consumed. And the Bible says, don't let your ability to eat meat become a stumbling block for the man who doesn't eat meat. So why is it okay for your consumption of alcohol in your video when you might not even realize that you're causing another brother to stumble who's watching you? And you don't understand that he can't handle his alcohol, but because he sees you doing it, oh, great established Christian for 30 some odd years, he's like, well, I guess it's okay. And you don't realize that you've helped to turn his life into an absolute mud pit. And he's struggling to get out of it while you're just having Sunday drinks with cocktails every week. We just have to be smarter. We have to be better. We just have to be. And I think so many Christian artists have to be better because they're leading the way and people are watching you. That's all I got to say.
There we go.
That's
good. Oh boy. Yeah.
He was saying it sets a bad example for your sheep.
And let me just clarify something else I said. You know, when I said you could do whatever you want to do, you know, Paul says all things are lawful, but everything isn't expedient. When we're born again, when we come to the reality of Christ, we realize that there's so much that we may have once thought was off limits, in one sense, really isn't off limits to us. But we do have the responsibility for choosing what we should and should not intake in our lives and what we should and should not participate in. Why would I, as a Christian man, be out every other night involved in orgies? It would make no sense. At some point, you would question my Christianity and you would say there was something wrong with me and how I saw Christ and what I was doing.
Oh my God.
And Christ was concerned not about how you felt about it, but what you do does to impact your brother.
Right. Right.
Okay, I need to stop.
the reference, though, if we want to kind of bring it back to the word, the reference is Romans 14, that David's coming from. That and 1 Corinthians 10, when he talks about when he's talking about eating meat that's been sacrificed to idols. That was a big problem back then, So I recommend, and I know David, obviously, we all recommend, read those passages and just really think on what he's saying, because it's true that we're called to liberty. The Bible says we are in Galatians 5, but he also says, but don't use that liberty as an occasion to your flesh, right?
Right.
And so it's like, don't let the very thing that God's blessed you with now become a subtle license for you to just live a morally loose life. That's not going to help anybody, man.
Not even just morally loose, morally bankrupt.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely folks out there doing that. That's for sure. So yeah.
Okay, and I'm just going to say this one more time. I'm watching you as a Christian artist. I've been listening to your music since I was like 22, and I'm 54. And you're out here with the guys just drinking around the table and carrying on this way. What do I do with that? Because what I don't do, and I'm not judging you, but I definitely look at you and say, I need to check that. And then I start listening to some of your music, and I'm starting to see how you talk a lot less about God than you did back in the day. Back in the days, it was, God, God, God. And nowadays it's, I smile. And it's like, and when you start putting the picture together and some of the odd behavior that we're seeing and some of the stuff you're doing in concert and all this other stuff, it's just like the picture begins to paint itself. And the picture of Christ in your life should always be creating a more beautiful and more beautiful picture. Even in the midst of your struggles, your storms still turn into a beautiful picture. You just didn't know that the master painter was going to paint that part, that color into your life. But not because you strayed away, but because you're walking through difficulty. You're walking through stuff. But don't willingly open the door for calamity in your life and then want to testify that it was God.
I heard a lady, a testimony this lady gave. God made me a crack addict so I could learn him as a deliverer. And I'm like, oh,
wow. Crystal Methodist.
Stop it, John. Stop it, dude.
You're dead wrong for that.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard that, man. That's one of those.
He ain't saved like you say he's saved.
Stop. I 100% agree. I think that something that I'm convicted of, like especially in the workplace, I guess you can use this in layman's terms, like as a leader of a department, I can't expect everybody to be back from lunch or like starting at 7:00 if I'm rolling in with them at the same time. It's like right on the dot at 7:00. I can't, it's almost like leading by example. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, why don't, all of a sudden I think when you're saying that you're not here to judge, what I'm hearing from my perspective, at the very least, it's like I'm not judging you, but I think that I lost a little bit of my capacity to be influenced by you, or to respect this person, because it's like you do what you got to do, but when you start singing about certain things or start preaching about certain things, I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt now, because I know what you did this past weekend. And it's not really the most honoring thing, but yeah. So it's a thing I think it's something that this Christian industry should be exposed for, but yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
The Christian music industry as a whole has to rise to a higher standard.
Correct.
Because there should be a standard. And not unfortunately, one of the few people that I see trying to uphold that standard is Forrest Frank, of all people.
I love Forrest Frank.
Who is saying, you know what? I don't feel right taking these awards. I don't want to be awarded for the music that I make that I feel like God drops in my heart for people. So I'm not going to do these award shows anymore. Okay, you can feel what you feel about that. They're fine. But then when you see him also take the step that he's fallen out with another Christian artist, and his answer is go to his brother, not rail him in social media, not carrying on and all this stuff and not doing all that, but he goes to his Christian brother, Corey Asbury. And between his going to him and saying, let's do a song together, he actually brings his Christian brother who's falling away from the Lord back to the Lord. All because he's trying to do it the way that God's laid it out to be and not do it the way the industry says it ought to be. The Christian music industry as a whole has to come up a standard. I don't think it's any different, Phil, than when the Bible tells us that teachers will be held to a higher standard.
That's me.
James.
I think anybody who is a Christian who's put in a place of authority or a position to be able to influence other believers, you instantly are standing at a higher responsibility. And you're going to be judged a little differently than everybody else because you took that platform. You said, I'm going to use this music to make a difference in people's lives for Christ. And you stood there and you talked to people and you told them, you led them, you spoke to them, you did all of these things. And you don't get to just walk away from that. That's a responsibility you have all of your life. So I'm getting over
move
I didn't realize I was still feeling a little fiery. But
still feel some kind of way about this. I see.
But I laced it with the word this time, Phil.
Okay, the word was present.
It was there. It was there.
And it wasn't a rant at all. I feel different about that than I felt about the whole episode last week.
Yeah, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. That's for sure.
No, touch me, Jesus. This episode might be music part 2.
That's what it's starting to feel like a little bit.
Oh man,
I'm here for it.
Okay, John. I'm gonna give this thing back to John because I've talked. I'm sorry. I love music. I'm passionate about the music.
Always have been. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, I think that. I to be fair, I think it's a valid. I was going to say valid crash out. You're not crashing out, but there's necessary conviction. Why did you call it
crash out though? Why?
He called it a crash out.
Oh,
it's not because I said it last week. That's one of the reasons why I love Forrest Frank, on top of just enjoying his music altogether. And I think that that's something that the thing that stood out to me about him was that at the beginning of his rebranding, he said that he wanted to record because he devoted himself to Christ. He gave his life to Christ because he made pop music before, and since he had changed his music to worship God, he wanted to record himself to keep himself accountable. And I think that seeing his conviction and seeing himself keep himself accountable with his own actions is, I think that's like the root of this conversation right here is, are you feeling convicted? I think that more people should be more convicted about their music because, and especially artists, specifically artists, like I think that there's just a significant lack of conviction and a lack of fear of God because I think that this music industry is the very thing that Jesus would go into and start turning tables over because they're in his church trying to produce music and trying to sell music. You know, like I get it, like you got to keep the lights on, but you know, it's kind of like we talked about earlier, like, you know, now we're paying for the pastor's Rolex watches. Like, you know, I don't think that it's become an industry. We already talked about that last week, but I 100% agree. I think that there's a significant lack of conviction and we need it. The music needs it. But on the other side of this coin, and I know we mentioned it last week too, and you definitely, I remember you talked about it too. Now, like people like Forrest Frank and all these other like younger creators aren't waiting to be signed on to a label. They're just creating music as they see God giving them the gift of music. Like they're creating worship through their own avenue of using social media and whatnot. And they're doing it for the sake of worshiping God. And that is, and it doesn't hurt that the music actually sounds good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's nice to see on the other side of that, like, especially younger people are just throwing out music the way that they would want to listen their Christian music be. And it just makes for a refreshing wave of like Christian music in my eyes, in my ears specifically, because it's, I don't know, I'm liking the stuff that's been put out. It's not all perfect, but when, again, I'm gonna bring up my boy Forrest Frank, when every song he's got has got some like word for word scripture in there, I mean, come on, dude, it sounds anointed, you know what I mean? But I'll leave that at that. Did y'all want to react to some internet videos tonight?
Yes.
Do we have time? Do we just want to go to the shorter ones and then hit the?
We were like 20 minutes before we started, so we've at least got another like 17. I'm so sorry, Philip. I really am. I feel bad now. I didn't realize I went on that long. It was a rant. Sorry. when it goes that long, I think it is a rant. I'm sorry, Philip. Sorry, Stephanie. Sorry, everybody.
It's all right, bro. It's okay. I know you feel strongly, man. You feel very strongly about it. So,
but there was word in it.
That's right.
Yes, there was. There was some word in there, bro.
Philip, do you want to just do the humorous stuff and keep the other one for next week, or do you want to go right into the other one?
Let's just hit the humor, and
I think that it'll be safe. So
if the spirit descends, then we will maybe do the other one. But
good Lord, bless it. All right,
so it's on you, John.
Check this out, fellas. Oh, let me hit this one right here. We'll save that one for later. I think one of y'all shared.
Who knew this guy? 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 Who knew this guy's cousin? I met this guy. Who knew this guy? Who knew this guy?
I know how that is, man. Like when you commit to read the Bible, you know, and
that's
commit to. I'm going to read every like 3 chapters a day. of the Gospels, and it starts off with that genealogy, brother. You gotta plow your way through that thing, man.
This is where that Bible in a year challenge fails, is when they get to the genealogy and they're like, you know what?
She's in the book of Luke right
Yeah.
now. I mean, take me back to Numbers, where it's 5 chapters of it. He knew it. She was son of, and bar this and bar that, and
she's got the note side of her Bible too. Like, oh God, yeah. Me personally,
but I will tell you guys. I will tell you guys this though. Those genealogies are hard to walk through.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like when you're reading those Old Testament ones, and then you jump off into Chronicles and Kings, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, that was so and so.
Right.
And you start connecting those dots.
Yeah,
and then
it's amazing.
The New Testament stuff, and you're like, dude, I know that name. And you start, and the pieces start falling in place. Now, look, the pieces aren't going to fall in place together because there's like 70 billion people in these begats, you know. So, but there's some of them you'll recognize, and you'll be like, "Oh, that was so and so's dad. It was his brother because his cousin did this." And it's like, okay, and you feel a little extra close to the Bible that day because you got to right.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Cool. This next one, I forgot who sent it. Whatever.
The Bible says that we come from dust and we return to dust. See, that's why I don't dust. It might be somebody we know.
Stop it. Stop it right now.
Honestly, yeah.
I mean, somebody said that. I forgot where I heard this, but it was like a professor I had or something. And he was like, do you realize that he was very like deadpan, you know how professors can be. He was like, do you realize that much of the particulate matter that is now dust was once human remains? And he was just saying something like that. And I'm like, I get you. Didn't need to know that. Don't need to think about that. But even if it's totally true, anyway, that was just interesting to me. So
honestly, it's kind of, I mean, I do think it is cool because what is it, Ecclesiastes? Is that where it's coming from? From dust, from dust we were formed and dust we return.
Oh, that's in Genesis when that was after the curse too. When God was cursing Adam, he was like, "Bro, you're gonna have to work hard to get any food, first of all, and then when you're dead, it's over, bro. Dust you are, and to dust you will return."
Right, goodbye. And then people get surprised when it's like, I can't take all this money with me. No. Dude, it's just dust. Your dust. That dust that's collecting on your stuff, that's somebody you knew. That part was fair.
But I love
I know this is completely off the subject. So please don't get me, Philip.
I'm sitting here with bated breath.
So. Look, I said something the other day. I said couple weeks back, maybe it was, that Christians need literacy. People in general need literacy on a bunch of stuff. And one of the things that I think Christians need a better literacy on is their money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, it's 100% sure that you can't take it with you. That doesn't mean live broke.
Yeah, amen to that.
And nor does it mean focus so heavily on wealth that you pierce yourself through because of your wrong relationship to money. I wish we as Christians would find ourselves a healthy literacy, because the real opportunity with money is to be able to pass it on from generation to generation and have each generation be a part of maintaining and growing it to just help the next generation along just a little bit.
Right.
And that help lets them do more and lets them grow more and helps them become more. And I just wish we were more stable about things and not always on these edges of prosperity gospel and thou shalt be broke.
I hear you, dude. Yeah.
I think that a great example of generational wealth is the Rockefeller family. When they started, the way if you look into that story, I won't go into it too deeply, but I think they're a great example of starting money. Was it almost 200 years ago? And it was probably 150 years ago, something like that. And then just every generation just like keeping that money within the family and managing to have that money go from generation to generation and growing that money. There's nothing at all wrong with that. 100% agree.
Okay, if only they had God, though.
Right. Well, that's a whole different conversation.
The way they got their money, I'm not too sure was of God, but we'll say that for another time.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
But having the godly heritage connected with your money that you helped to grow the kingdom from generation to generation to generation to generation is quite a legacy for your family.
Well, it's also, what does it say? It's the root of all evil is the love of money, or the love of money is the root of all evil. So it's not having money that is the root of evil. It's the love of money that'll set you on fire. Fire and brimstone.
But unfortunately, too many people are in love with it.
Yeah. And it's sad. When you heard this dude, it's funny when people say, I'm married to the hustle, I'm married to the bag. I'm like, dude, that is literally the definition of loving money. It's kind of funny hearing people say that out loud.
Shot Guy joined us. Sorry, I just saw that. Shot Guy has joined us.
Hey, cool. Hello again.
Good evening, Shot Guy. I remember you from back in the day.
Yes, sir.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
All right, John, what else you got?
One more for you guys. One more. I think you'll get a kick out of this one. Oh, hold on.
The face of thine enemies. Glory.
No, that's not the beginning. That's not the beginning.
Tonight.
I can't. Hold on. Let me. Give me one moment, please. I think that it won't let me take it back. Right. So let me just loop it to the beginning right here. Or it won't let me loop it. There we go.
All right.
I'll just have to cut that part out. Excuse me, guys.
So I'm in my wood like I do every night, right? Mm-hmm. And I came across this Bible verse. And let me tell you something. This is what I love about King David. David was a gangster. David was a thug. I'm talking about David was so straight to the point, man. You just gotta love the man. He went to God straight up and just told him what he needed and what he wanted. Right here, Psalm 3:7. It says, "Arise, O Lord, rescue me, my God. Slap all my enemies in the face." Hey, Shandebo Shaya. That's what I need right there. I say, slap all thy holy hand across the face of thine enemies. Oh, praise him tonight. Praise him on tonight. This where I'm at right here. I'm in my King David era. I say, slap. Oh,
yes.
So, what I find even funnier is that she didn't get to the next verse because the next verse says, "And shatter their teeth."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Dude.
She said, "I'm in my King David era." Yo,
I love it.
In the comments, let me know who's in their King David era right now. Okay. Slap all my enemies. I think that we should have more prayers like this.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Can I be honest? I've been secretly praying a little bit more like David, though.
Yeah,
because there's a situation going on right now, and my prayer is, Lord, break the backs of this group of people.
Oh boy,
drive them into derision and confusion, and let them ambush each other.
Come on now.
And I mean that prayer too.
I respect it. I respect it. Yeah, that's I think that'd be a great bookmark for tonight. To pray that the Lord will slap our enemies across the face.
Pow!
And shatter the teeth of the wicked.
Man.
I have no comments, no notes for that one, gentlemen. I don't know about y'all, but I think that again,
the point was well made.
We need to pray more like that. We need to pray more like David. Everybody who's in the King David era.
Right. I promise next week to have better control of myself and to set a good godly example and to not steal the time from the thing that we wanted to get to that we didn't tonight, and to remind you to get your copy of Get Over It. It's a great book that we think that you'll really enjoy. It's an ebook, so make sure you have your Kindle reader or whatever you do your e-reading on. And then after you read it, do us a huge favor. Tell us about your experience reading it. Not that it was just a good, this is a great read. That's good, but we want to know, did it help you? Did it help you move from over it to a healthier place where now, okay, I still may be a little bit over it, but now I have a perspective that lets me know I'm not going to always be over it. So please share with us your feedback about the book and tell us how it's impacting and changing things for you. Also, don't forget to visit our website, BibleBrosBrew.com. We just check it out. There are all the resources there. We've got some more stuff coming to it soon. Just as soon as I can get my hands to it, we'll have some newer things there for you. And then don't forget to connect with us on social media, which you can find on BibleBrosBrew.com. And you'll see all of our social medias there. You can connect with us on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Rumble. You'll also be able to find the different places where you can get the podcast if you just want to listen, like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Pocket Cast. So we would just love to have you connect with us and do us a huge favor here on YouTube and on Rumble. If you would, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. That way you're always notified when we are doing something new and when something fresh is coming your way. We're so glad that you're here. We appreciate you. We love you. And on behalf of Philip and John, we'll see you next time.
Peace.
My wife gave me a girl's cup.
Ooh, say thank you.